Mr. Nile, continuing the interview in relation to the Gentrader transactions concerning the power stations in New South Wales, you've argued, or you found, that the alleged 5.3 billion proceeds from that was not true, that the return to New South Wales, the real return to New South Wales, would have been substantially less. What would the return have been?
Well, we estimate probably around $600 to $700 million. There were so many subsidies built into that offer to try to get people to put in their tenders, and the major one was this Kilbarra coal mine, to actually construct the coal mine. You have this odd situation, the government's actually privatising the power, and on the other hand setting up to become an owner of a coal mine. They don't have any coal mines, obviously they don't want to be in that area, and it's a pretty sensitive area to try to construct a coal mine in this current environment with carbon trading, taxation and so on. So the Treasurer was boasting, well, even if it costs $1.2 billion to build a coal mine, we could always sell it. And I asked him the question, will anyone buy it? Will anyone buy it?
So the value was not as presented, and I think you also found there was a risk involved in the transaction.
Yeah, there were built-in factors about damages that the state would have to pay if the power that was to be supplied did not meet the required levels, and that's always a danger. And when you have very hot spells that we've been having, and you have a massive pressure put on that electricity. In fact, during that hot spell we just had, there was a number of breakdowns which they claimed had nothing to do with literally the supply. I believe it did.
As I read your report, it seems the committee was so disillusioned with the transaction that you've come to the conclusion that the government should rescind the agreement.
The government has no option, I believe, to rescind that sale, and if the Labor government doesn't have the courage to do that, and they probably won't, I'm sure the incoming coalition government will closely examine all these details, and it'll come to the same conclusion. It's a bad deal, and it's a drain, actually, an ongoing drain on the public purse, plus the new government's going to have to be in the business of constructing a coal mine, and even that may run into problems with local residents. But there's a lot of opposition now to any new coal mines in New South Wales, so it's not a simple issue to say we're going to put a coal mine here. And you may find there's large community protests against it, so I don't think a coalition government would want to buy into that situation. So the simplest thing is to rescind the sale, go back to tours.
The purchasers would, of course, not be surprised if the agreement were rescinded.
No, I believe that whoever, that's why nobody tendered for the second batch of sales. No one tendered. I think they all saw the red light flashing. There's no really security in this sale. Better not get involved. So I believe the first companies did make those purchases. Obviously there'd be some compensation, legitimate ones, for their costs involved in tendering. They have to do a lot of research and so on. But I don't think there should be any attempt to, you might say, trick the government by saying, look, we lost profit for the next 20 years, and that comes to $2 billion. I don't believe that would be legitimate, and perhaps we would have to go to a court and have a judge make a judicial decision on what is a genuine loss to that company, what real damages did they have, and then they would be reimbursed for that.